Nationally recognized speaker, facilitator, and author Steve Klein sits down with the most fascinating difference makers in Dallas-Fort Worth. Hear from top CEOs, local entrepreneurs, and key playmakers in business right now with your host, Steve Klein.
Aristotle said, "We are what we repeatedly do." Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Hi, I'm Steve Klein, and welcome to Playmakers Talk Show. In the studio today are two guests who have a habit of excellence. Our first playmaker brings customer service to medicine, while our next playmaker has worked in hospice care, Alzheimer's care, and counseling. With us today is a CEO of a company that wants men to recapture their youth and vitality, while our next playmaker brings luxury living to the young at heart. These great playmakers are Michael Sisk. Mike is CEO of Low T Center, and Carol Cottle. Carol is Director of Family Services and Community Outreach Director for Windsor Senior Living. And we're going to begin today's show with Carol. Again, Carol is the Director of Family Services and, again, the Community Outreach Director at Windsor Senior Living. She's worked in hospice care for more than a decade and with Alzheimer's for 14 years and has a 30-year background in counseling. Windsor Senior Living is a luxury living community that is home to independent, assisted, and memory care residents. Their independent residents are able to reside within luxurious accommodations, which range from penthouse apartments with expansive views to conveniently situated studios. As I mentioned before, Windsor Senior Living is luxury living for the young at heart. Well, Carol, welcome to Playmakers Talk Show.
Well, thank you. It's a pleasure to be here.
Well, you've been in counseling for 30 years. You've worked also with hospice and Alzheimer's patients. What brought you here? What brought you to where you are right now?
Well, I followed my husband, and we came to Dallas. 18th move in a 40-some-year marriage.
That's a lot of moves.
It is a lot of moves, but I love the guy. And this move was a little different. I'd never lived in a large metropolitan area. I was probably having a poor pity me party. I was unpacking, didn't know what I was going to do with my life at this point. Children not here on their own. And I was looking out my window and saw someone moving in across the street. So, as any Southern girl does, you bake a pie and you take it across the street. And I met the couple moving in, and this gentleman had just purchased what had been a formidable hotel.
Well, that, if I remember correctly, for those who are listening, Windsor Senior Living is right on LBJ, right near Coit,
Yes,
the southwest corner. And that was a Marriott hotel for a long time, and all of a sudden it's different. So keep going with the story.
Well, it was a Marriott and then a Sheraton hotel.
That's right.
Yes, and it was for sale at auction. The caveat in the purchase was it could not be a hotel, so what do you do with a hotel? But this gentleman was from Philadelphia, had a brother in Florida, and they had a vision, and the vision stands as this TRICARE luxury living hotel. And we got to know each other, and it was under construction. He and his brother thought the walls were sheetrock, 6-month renovation, but when they got inside after they bought it at auction, they found the walls were cinder block, so it was a 2-year renovation. And he said, "Come work with me," and it was probably one of the greatest gifts I've ever been given outside of my own children and family. It blesses my life to walk through those doors every day.
So you were with him before it even opened up.
I was, along with our ED and Mark Whitman and Ben Lee, Director of Sales and Marketing. So, yes.
So you're coming up just under 3 years.
Well,
it's been open, is that correct?
No, we've actually been open 5. There's a process where you have to apply for licensure and a lot of other things, but I've been there 6 years. You have to start selling before you open, and so we started that process, opened our doors, applied for licensure. So it's been a process, but our doors have been open a little over 5.5 years.
I'm looking at the date, and that's actually when it was purchased by another company. We'll talk about that in a minute. I'm also going to ask you about what you actually do, but let's talk about Windsor Senior Living. And for those that would like to check it on the web, it's windsordallas.com. What makes Windsor Senior Living different than other senior living communities that are in the Dallas area?
Well, for one thing, we invite our residents to age in place, and not every community can offer that. There's a doorbell. It means that if you move in as an independent resident, we don't ever want you to have to leave your home. That as we age, if you move in when you're 70 and then you become 95, we don't want you to have to leave. If you have extra care, if you need hospice. And that has happened. We have a resident there who's 103. We have one who will be 100 in April. We have several who are between the ages of 95 and 100. We're living longer today, and that's a good thing. So to know that you can move to a place and not have to move again is, I think, something that gives one a peace of mind. But we also have memory care because life happens and things happen. We have 3-tiered memory care. So it's 3 levels of care because even in memory care, we're not all the same. So I think that sets us apart too. In a lot of communities, your memory care is just one level of care. So we're really proud to offer those 3 levels of care.
So you have 3 different areas: independent living, assisted living, and memory care. And then within memory care, there's three levels too. There's those that don't need as much assistance all the way up to almost 24-hour care.
Yes.
You mentioned the oldest. How old is your youngest resident?
Our youngest resident is, I believe, in their late 50s.
So it's an area you can move into and just give up responsibilities. You have your place, and they come in and clean it, and you have a place to stay, and you have all the amenities. But tell us what, in the independent living, I was looking at the website, and this is listed on there too. What does a resident that's part of the independent living get? Meals, what type of meals, transportation, what are they getting by living at Windsor Senior Living?
Well, everyone that lives there gets 3 meals a day. There are dining rooms throughout the building, the complex. So if you're independent, you would have a pendant that's like a GPS because, you might fall or get lost, and we would want to find you. But the meals are lovely. It's dining. It's not just a meal. It's dining with linens and wait staff and breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
But as a resident, I also could, as independent living, I could have a refrigerator in my
Oh,
in my
you?
room and
Of
eat
course.
within my own apartment.
Yes, sir. Of course. Penthouses, very nice. We have several floor plans for 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom apartments, and beautiful skyline views. We have happy hours. We have a calendar that suits them. Our calendar is driven by our residents. 3 meals a day, housekeeping, laundry service. All that is included in the price that you pay. None of this is a la carte. It's all included. And the care is there if you were to need it. If you, let's say that one evening you weren't feeling well and you walk down to breakfast, the nurse's station is right there. You could have your blood pressure checked or talk to them about how you're feeling. So it's nice to know that all that is there for you. But all of the amenities, transportation, I would like to know that if I had a doctor appointment, I wouldn't have to drive myself, although I do have a covered parking space for myself. But someone would transport me to my doctor's office and bring me back, and there's no charge for that. All of your doctor's appointments and medical appointments, transportation is provided. So I think that's a plus.
Well, you must have an excellent chef then, because in a hotel you have transient residents, and the chef can make the same thing on a regular basis because they haven't eaten there before. But your residents are eating in the same place all the time, so your chef must have a tremendous amount of recipes and do things specifically for them.
He does, and it is a big responsibility. He has sous chefs. We have a pastry chef. We do gluten-free, sugar-free, because we have to take the health of our residents into consideration also, and we pride ourselves in that. There's a rotation of menus. It's a 5-week cycle, and everyone knows and gets excited about mealtime. Dining isn't just a personal experience, it's a social experience, and we always know who's not in the dining room. We check into that, find out why, but that's when they come together with their neighbors. We like to think that we're creating neighborhoods at the Windsor, and their friendships come together in the dining rooms.
Well, that brings me to you. You mentioned your title as of Director in Family Services. Your new one is Community Outreach Director. What do you do? And what do you enjoy about your job?
Well, I just love knowing that maybe I'm making a difference in someone's life every day. The outreach is going to the hospitals and the rehabs because it's neighborhoods and people get ill or they fall. So I go to the rehabs and the hospitals and check on them and take them little happies and make sure they're doing all right. And a lot of times, if someone is having their first surgery or hospital experience, they don't know about rehab. So we try to inform them and keep them in the loop and know that their home is still there for them. I do a variety of things. Just the other day, we had a resident who found out that he had cancer, and his insurance was an HMO. And that's not a really wonderful thing if you're going into that kind of situation. So I made it my business to check into everything, and within 12 hours, he had a PPO. So, it's just looking at them and knowing who they are. I have a journal on every resident, try to get to know the families. If they don't have that twinkle in their eye that day, and I know they love chocolate, we get chocolate. We try to get them involved in activities. We have life enrichment directors that do a great job. Exercise is very important, getting them to exercise. Who's not going to exercise? Water aerobics. Music therapy is huge for us. We have live entertainment all through the week. Happy hour is great. We love happy hour.
Well, you got me right there. A big part of what you are is a concierge for your residents.
I try to be. I do dry cleaning. I take it out and pick it up. So it's all those little things that make a difference in their lives.
And you can tell by listening to Carol, she's very passionate about what she does. So tell everybody how they can find out more about Windsor Senior Living.
Well, we have a website, and my email address is windsor.tpc@blueharborsl.com.
It's a long one, so they can find that. They can find you on the Windsor Senior Living Center website, which is windsordallas.com.
Yes.
Carol, thank you very much for being a part of Playmakers Talk Show.
Well, I appreciate the opportunity. Come see us.
Carol Cottle is the Director of Family Services and Community Outreach Director at Windsor Senior Living on LBJ near Coit.